Hi BookTube, it's Sina from Beating Around the Books, and today I'm gonna do a very rare TBR, or I guess a pile of possibilities for non-fiction November. So yesterday I think the announcement was uploaded by Olive from the Book Olive, sorry, and I like the fact that the prompts that they do for non-fiction November are very, very loose, because otherwise I think the little rebel in me feels put off from readathons when the prompts are too specific. And so I thought I'm gonna have some fun and try and figure out how to match the books that I'm interested in reading to these prompts. I'm going to link the announcement video down below if you feel interested in taking part yourself. Obviously, Olive always stresses that if you want to take part, just read a non-fiction book, whatever that may be. But it's always nice to kind of try and play, I guess. Oh, sorry. It's that heater that came on. Let me turn it off. I'm not very good with TBRs, hence why I rarely ever set any and don't usually film any videos with TBRs. So again, like I said, it's more of a pile of possibilities. Also because some of these prompts were so open that I couldn't quite limit myself to one, and I'm sure I won't be reading that many books, or at least if I do, it's not going to be all of this sort of non-fiction either. I'll probably be reading some fiction too. The prompts this year were collection, industry, style, and treatment. So for collection, I went with a very, very obvious link, which is essay collections. And because I have too many and I couldn't decide, I already excluded some, even though I was interested in them. I think I've got 3 that I chose as a possibility. So the first one is Elena Savage's Blueberries. I know very little about this apart from the fact that it has been everywhere on Bookstagram. So many readers that I share some book tastes with have really, really liked this. Rebecca Eats Books has been pushing this onto everyone for a couple of months now. And so I wanted to give it a try. It says on the, well, not on the back, but on the inside flap, that bodies are very much present and sort of, you know, bodies in love and in pain, at rest and at work are one of the major themes of the collection. I know that in the very first essay she speaks about her experience going back to Portugal, where years before she had been victim of sexual violence, and she goes back to find out what actually happened to her attacker, because she did you know, go to the police, but she had to leave before the court case was finished, I guess. So I know that that is the first essay, which sounds quite heavy, but also really, yeah, like something that might be a really good read. Anyway, so this is one option. Then my next option is Disability Visibility, which is a collection by several authors, edited by Alice Wong. So I have already featured this months ago when I finally got my hands on it. And I've read a few of the essays, but I never finished the whole book. So this is a collection of essays by disabled people, you know, of all sorts of different kinds of disabilities, some visible, some not so much, and, you know, showcasing the complexity of their lived experience, I guess. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Yeah, and I would like to read a few more, or maybe finish this. Then the third option and the last is Nina Mingya Powles' Small Bodies of Water, which I was so excited for. I pre-ordered and then somehow didn't get to. This is, well, also an essay collection on different bodies of water that she has swum in over the course of her life and how they both separate and connect us. It is about migration, living between two cultures, family, belonging, all sorts of things that I'm very interested in. So hopefully we'll get to this. Okay, that is the third one for collection. Then for industry, I want to listen to an audiobook that I have saved on Script, and that is Empire of Pain by, you'd think I'd looked up the name. Ooh, what is his name? It is the author of Say Nothing. And this book talks about the Sackler family's role in creating the opioid crisis in the US. And well, how did I link this to industry? Oh yeah, pharmaceutical industry. So yeah, that's my only pick. I'm sure I could have found more if I had really tried, but I thought, you know what, these are already too many anyway. Then for style, I have one, I guess, quite obvious link, which is I really like the style of Fitzcarraldo editions. I know, how boring. But anyway, I guess we could also say that this links in with style, The Years by Ernaux, if it's not visible, sorry. Because I guess the style in which this memoir is written is rather unique. I've heard that this is about, I guess, how do you say it? It's like a collective memoir of, is it of France? But then looked at through the life of her as like the author. So I guess we could link it that way. So that's the one. That is the one that I want to buddy read with Shan from Pastori Time. So hopefully, yeah, this will be, I guess, my top priority. And then the other one is another Fitzcarraldo editions nonfiction book, Suppose a Sentence by Brian Dillon. And this one I think works well, of course, on the basis that I like the style of these, but also this is an essay collection that are all prompted by single sentences from well-known authors, and it looks at, for example, style and voice and language and the subjective reading experience. So I think that works. Writing style, I guess. Yeah, I can't really see myself reading this from cover to cover, to be honest. I feel like this might be one where I want to dip in and out of. And then for the last one, the last prompt was treatment. And there I have, well, I guess also slightly tenuous links. Another audiobook, which is a German one by a German author and publicist. Well, he's a poet and I can't remember. Publicist and author and poet. His name is Max Czollek, and the book is Gegenwartsbewältigung, which is a play on the German word Vergangenheitsbewältigung. So Vergangenheitsbewältigung is a word that doesn't have a very good translation to English. Most dictionaries will tell you it's coming to terms with the past or coping with the past. And it's a specific term in Germany which usually is reserved for, or probably coined because of the Holocaust. And yeah, so the process of, I guess, German society of coming to terms with its violent, horrific, genocidal past. And the book in question is called Gegenwartsbewältigung, and Gegenwart is the present. So it is about coming to terms with the present. The author is himself a Jewish German writer who grew up in East Berlin, or was born there anyway. I think he's actually my age, so he wouldn't actually have been. Well, he wouldn't have been alive for very long during the GDR, right? Because that came to an end at 89. Was it 89? Yes. Sorry. Anyway, he was born there and he grew up in Berlin as well. And he writes, so I listened to his previous book, which was a polemic, which was largely about similar topics. And it was criticizing the German society's obsession with several things. One is with the Deutsche Leitkultur, with the German leading culture, and its and the insistence everywhere that immigrants have to integrate into that sort of culture. So he criticizes just the premise of having a leading culture that makes up Germany and that everybody shares. And he makes some good points about why that might not be the case, and why maybe integration in that sense isn't really helpful. And also how that denies the reality of a very pluralistic or diverse country that is, Germany of the present. And this one is a newer one which came out during the pandemic. And I think it just basically expands on that idea. Sorry, I never said... This was not focused, was it? Well, sorry. I never said how I linked that to treatment. So I guess it's about how German society treats both its past, but also its current immigrants and minority groups. There we go. Tenuous link? Yeah, but I want to listen to it because I enjoyed the first one, and I thought he had some good thoughts. Although I will say it would probably be better to read this book, but I already have the audiobook now. Maybe at some point I'll get a printed copy, but until then I'm going to listen to what I have. If you're interested in his thoughts on the matter in a smaller condensed form, I have actually found an English translation of a speech he gave which had the same title, Gegenwartsbewältigung, so coming to terms with the present. I'm going to link that underneath as well, because I thought it was actually, I didn't read the whole translation, but it helpfully also has footnotes, specifically sometimes on the translation or also on specific terms that might mean something different in German context. Or not different, but we might have a slightly different nuances to it than the English translation can properly express. So I thought it was quite good. Like I said, I will link it down below. And then my last option for treatment is The Way We Survive, Notes on Rape Culture by, can I remember the name? No, Catriona Morton. Or is it Catriona? I think it's Catriona. I'm not sure. So the author of this book is herself a survivor of sexual violence. And in this book, she she thematizes a lot of things, but I think a large part of why she wrote this book, well, one part is that she said she would have really wished for a book like this to exist when she was raped, you know, in the aftermath of it. And the other reason she wrote it was that she wants to change the way we, as, you know, society, treat the discourse around sexual violence. Did I just say treat the discourse? Yeah, again, tenuous link. And that sounds very interesting and like a very, you know, well worth a read and, you know, a worthy undertaking. And I've had this not for very long. I don't think it's even, well, it came out this year. I can't remember when, maybe in June, July, I don't know. I bought it sometime in summer and I would like to give this a read soon. So I don't know why I keep saying this. Of course I want to read it if I'm holding it up in here. Yeah, so that's all for my pile of possibilities. Let me know if you're taking part in Nonfiction November. Have you read any of these? Are there any that I should prioritize from, you know, the ones where I have several? I don't know. And if you're taking part, let me know your choices. Or if you've made a video, then I'll go and check them out. Right. Have a lovely day and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.